Hello, everyone. Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. Today is a little bit of love, sex, and rock and roll. We're having a show with two amazing relationship experts. Dr. Drew Pinsky is in the house with a special appearance to give us his expertise on all things love, sex, and rock and roll. And also, I have another expert here today who is the author of F the Fairy Tale, Damona Hoffman. She has made a personal appearance in the Playroom Pods to help Dr. Drew along the way to talk about everything sex, love, and rock and roll. And I'm so excited because I have two amazing psychics here to help us. Not only also, Damona is an expert on relationships, but she also is an intuitive or maybe even psychic that I've heard. So it'll be fun to sort of mix it up with someone who's psychologically attuned to people and also can tap into their soul. Anyway, so we have some great callers lined up. We're also here to introduce from Australia. She's from the world down under, and it is actually Valentine's Day. See, I've got my Valentine's heart on today. Look at this. Woo-hoo. Anyways, Colby Rebel is in the house. She's going to be taking the first or the second, actually, caller who's calling in today. Hi, Colby. Welcome.
Hi. See you, Susan.
Oh, good. Okay, we've got our audio. And also, we have Andrew Anderson. Colby's actually found anywhere at Colby Rebel, but we will get to that a little bit later. And then we have Andrew Anderson in the house. He's calling in from Chicago. So he's on Central Time, and he's here today to crack the code on the two guests that are sitting here in studio today, one being my husband and one being Damona. So I don't know if they knew they were going to get psychic readings from Andrew to start off, but hello, welcome. And I'm sorry I'm sprung this on you at the last minute, but we try not to give out any information in advance. We don't want you looking up anything on the internet. We don't want you to know who the guests are. And we're just sort of like, let the spirits guide the show at the beginning. And does that sound good?
It's fine for me. Yeah.
Okay. So
thanks for having me.
Who do you want to work with first here? Do you think we should start with Damona or Dr. Drew?
Let's see. When you say start, you want me to read them, right? We're focusing on love and relationships, correct?
Yeah, or whatever comes up for the guest. I'm just warming up the room. You know,
I'm more in the mood. I'm in the Valentine mode of love and relationship stuff. So I think a lot of people need to hear that today. A lot of people are depressed.
Only give Susan and Dr. Drew.
Is her mic on?
Yeah.
I'll take anything. I'll take whatever you got.
Oh no, I have to make sure Damona's mic is working.
Yeah, it says it's on. Hold on.
It's number 3. Oh,
yes.
Put on number 4.
Oh,
yeah, they're all.
Let's start with Dr. Drew.
Okay, since she doesn't have them.
Rock and roll.
Hello, Drew.
For Christ's sakes.
Hello, Drew.
Amen.
You know what I find fascinating with you and your wife is this bond you have, because what I see too often in relationships, especially ones that are in the spotlight like yours is, we lose sight of the other person. We don't grow together. And what happens a lot of times is you go through these magnificent careers together. You get to the point where where you planned on retiring, and you get to that point, you realize you don't even know this person. That happens way too often. And I feel like you've done a good job, Dr. Drew, of staying connected with Susan. I do still feel some things missing, and a reconnection is necessary. I think it's a big impasse for you two both. And I think we said something, I don't remember, a few weeks ago or whatever, I had said something to you about, no, I think it was Susan. I said that there was a way for her to fall in love with you again this year. You remember that, Susan?
Yes, I do.
Well, I felt that for a reason. I just prompted to say it. So a reconnection is what's necessary. Connecting to our old selves before you guys became famous, or when we first met, or you guys first met, it will help. It helps you get back into the interests you had back then. You know, you're going to have interests now, of course, that are similar, but I'm feeling like you guys need to reconnect. You're very busy. I don't know how much time you guys spend together, actually. I know you're doing a show and she's doing this and that, but reconnection is necessary this year. Your father. So I know your father passed. That's probably noted by a lot of people. But there's something to do with a birthday or an anniversary coming up, or just passed with someone or something that's passed. I'm seeing a celebration.
Did your mom pass in April? When did she?
Oh, she passed when she knows a birthday. He's saying.
When did she?
Or an anniversary or celebration. Remember,
they have their wedding anniversaries in April.
Okay, that's coming up. There's what I'm trying to get from you is your dad. When I connect to your father, very intelligent, smart man. But what I feel maybe you didn't take some of the lessons that he gave you. And I don't know exactly what they are yet, but I'm feeling like you need to learn from his life. To some degree you have, but maybe I'm feeling like he's saying you're not connecting to him like you should be. He does say you talk to him sometimes. Do you do communicate that way, right? Because he says he talks to me. There's something going on with that family dynamic that you're supposed to learn from. I think you have grown from what you experienced in your relationship. It wasn't a horrible experience, but you did grow, and your relationship is better because of it, certainly with your kids. You certainly become very tolerable. You have to have patience, especially dealing with addiction and other things. And Susan, you have to have patience.
Thank you.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm sitting right here. How dare you?
The onus isn't always on the male either. It takes two, right? It takes two to make the marriage last and work. And you guys are doing a good job with the kids and the struggles and the challenges you've had. You're still there together. You know what I mean? And you guys didn't end up like so many California couples do.
Well, we've been together for 40 years, so.
She said I don't put the family first. That's the latest feedback.
And you know what I like from Susan's standpoint, Drew? She has respect for you. And you know, if that's missing from a relationship, you don't have one. She trusts you. That's also something that a lot of women don't have these days, because you're a good looking man. You're successful. You've been hit on before by these young interns or whoever. And you're going to be challenged again this year. I think I may have told your wife that. How you handle that, of course, is what you've done in the past. You've been a stand-up guy. You know what I love about that, Drew? I don't get to say that often, because mostly I'm dealing with cheaters and people who are being cheated on.
No, I have a perfect track record. I can say with absolute.
And Drew, if you
clarity.
didn't, I would tell you, and I would call you out.
Yeah.
I would.
Wow.
And tell you.
Good, because
I don't see it.
I don't think Susan believes me. When you get right down to it,
He does get hit on a lot in front of me sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, in front of you. Okay.
Oh, yeah. His audience loves him. Like,
I think there's a deep something you're missing from your father. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I'd have to do something a little deeper with you later. But there's some aspect of his life that you're missing, that he wishes he had done. He's living through you in a lot of ways. You're living a charmed life, so to speak. But there's something missing that he's wanting you to connect to. Something. So the woman that's coming this year to hit on you, so to speak. This one seems different. I'm not saying you're going to entertain it, but she feels a little different. She may be a little more persistent. Some may say stalking. So
stalking. Awesome. I'll keep an eye out for that.
Weird going on.
We can put her on the show. We can bring her on the show.
Stalkerish.
We can bring her on the show.
And
I like this intro. This is good.
Wait, keep going.
Who's the woman that you just showed me again? I'm sorry, Ramona. What's her name?
Damona.
Damona.
Oh, Damona. I'm so sorry. That doesn't. All right, Damona.
And it's not me, just so everybody knows.
Although you did strangely show up. I haven't seen you in months since we were in Florida. It's kind of a little weird.
All of a sudden, she's
Damona,
here.
I can say with 100% accuracy that he is not your type. I can say he's not your type.
That's so funny.
What is this book you wrote, Damona? Is it Fairy Tales of what?
It's F the Fairy Tale, Rewrite Your Dating Myths and Live Your Own Love Story. Yeah, so it's about casting off these ideas on what love is supposed to look like and writing your own story, taking the lead in your own rom-com.
And it feels like, for the most part, Damona, you've walked the walk with that. You've learned from past mistakes. Nobody's perfect in relationships, of course. We all make our mistakes. Your book, isn't the first one?
This is the first official published book. Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of other writing and things you doubted or hesitated on that you should have wrote. That'll come later because your fame will be growing a little more. So the other books that you question a little bit they should come out, and I think they will. How long have you been married?
17 years.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And
in entertainment years, it's 35.
I know. I've been with 40. It's like 80.
You know what's very unique about this situation is, Damona, you're a very old soul, meaning you've had a lot of lives, and the communication level from your man is going to have to be through the roof. So for you to have that, he suffers a little bit with that right now, the communication, but he's getting better. And I feel like you're walking the walk when it comes to that, when it comes to your love life. I want to tell people, most women that I see wouldn't be in their situation if they would just pay attention to red flags. You should have a couple chapters on that if you're writing a book about love, because these red flags are there. And people just disregard them because they're so attracted to be in their situation.
Sorry. Oh, God. I didn't do it.
What was
it
that?
A ghost.
The spirits came through and doubled your audio.
Did you guys talk about recently about reconnecting or going to like counseling or something?
No,
Or
we're pretty
therapy?
connected.
No, who's
No.
therapy? In your family,
Me.
though. Connected to you.
I'm having therapy.
Well, you are sitting right next to her. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm a big
Yes.
proponent. I believe in therapy. I think everyone
good.
can use the tools of therapy.
Yeah, it's moving. It's going around the table towards me now.
You guys have a big trip planned this year?
Me or Susan?
I'm
It's
kidding.
gonna
You know,
be
you guys are all right in front of me. I'm seeing a big trip. It might be Italy. or
Hey,
something.
Caleb,
It's
put the
Spain.
camera on all three of us. We have another camera shot, so we're So
Spain.
I don't know if that
I would
was-
love a big trip. I'm
No,
going
the
to
other
take
one.
that one. That's for me.
Yeah, so Drew and I are going to have a big trip. So I think it's moving in my direction now because we are sitting right next to each other. And part of the energy that's in the room, there's 4 people here, so there's always a chance it could just sort of drift around.
To say too. I wondered if she has anything to.
I would love to hear, but before you do that, yes, I can confirm there is a trip in the works, maybe 2. Is there going to be 1 or
A
2?
reconnection trip. No, I'm feeling a reconnection. So you and Drew can reconnect on this trip in another way. Just having fun and being present for each other, you know?
I like that. You like that, honey?
Yeah, of course.
Are you down?
No,
Okay.
that's what we're doing.
This is a psychic counselor right now.
Am I
Damona,
doing it?
what questions does Damona have if her relationship is so good?
I don't have love questions.
Because that's what this is about, and that's what I'm looking for.
But yeah, we both, my husband and I both have had some career transitions, and we also just moved. So there's a lot that's happening on the perimeter of our relationship that affects.
Yes, I
Thank
understand
you for
that. Staying connected is hard, like in the middle of all that. Like it's just so much going on. Like Drew and I have a lot going on. We work together, we travel together, we're always together, but we're so busy all the time. And I think just having that downtime to sort of be together without all the extraneous things from the outside, like, we have a new grandchild. We're going to go visit them, but I want to help them because she's 3 weeks old. She needs a grandma. And then, and a grandpa. And like that is always on my mind. And then
They could put a big
our
picture.
show, and then I'm worried about Caleb's computer. And I'm worried about, Drew getting to talk about, RFK Jr. later because there's like a van outside my house now for a hit tonight on Fox. And then I also have to plan dinner and have like, so our life is really incorporated with a lot of stuff. So I think you're right, Andrew. It's time for he and I to reconnect, and take a little time away. And I know that Caleb will be happy because he doesn't have to work when I'm away. So he can fix his computer. But I love.
But you're going to make Robin work.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Yeah, Robin
I'll
will
work.
still be here
I'll
working.
still be working. Yeah.
No, thank you. I encourage other people to take time with their spouse, even if you've been together for 40 years, to reconnect. And I am looking forward to it very much so. It is hopefully coming, but there are 2 trips. You told me not to fly to New York on the last show in June.
Yeah.
But I'm going to fly to Jersey. So is that okay?
Well, you know what? I wanted to. I wrote that down about clarifying about my travel warnings that I had. It wasn't pertaining to necessarily just flying or just the planes. It's also pertaining to individuals who may be connected specifically to what I said, and it could be something that happens to them, or paying attention to our gut, our intuition will help avoid those things too. So, you're going in June. So I was feeling LaGuardia. So if you don't want to fly into there, or if you don't have to,
Okay.
I would go into some
Not going to LaGuardia.
We're not going there.
Yeah,
We're
Newark
not
all the
going
way.
there. Newark.
Yes, that's the way.
So Drew and I, we've been waiting for this for a while. We've been so busy, and things are stabilizing, and we're able to take some time to take a break and reconnect. And I want to bring Colby in too, because she and I have been friends for a really long time, and she knows Damona and myself and Drew. and very well. So that's why I had Andrew jump in, because he hasn't, I'm a frequent flyer with Colby. So we've known each other for 10, 12 years now. How long has it been? I can't. God.
It's been a long time. It's been a while. I mean, yeah, I don't even know, over 10 years.
You guys used to go out to that place in Culver City, that building, what was that group's called?
Well, we were at Podcast One, then we were at Sideshow.
That's where I met Colby.
And then first we were at a Corolla. So we started at Corolla.
You and Colby?
Yeah. No, she came in at Sideshow, I think.
That's what I thought. That's what
I met her through Lisa Williams, who is somebody that Damona knows very well too. So it's been like a 12-year experience with all these different psychic mediums over the years. So I wanted to bring a fresh face in here today to read Drew, which, you did a great job, by the way, Andrew. You fit right in. You're meeting the requirements of the calling out cast of clairvoyants here today. Anyway, so Colby, do you have anything to add to this? I mean, just to sort of piggyback on or even give Andrew some advice?
Or me.
Oh, I'm not giving Andrew advice. He's doing all right. He can tune in.
Colby,
about his
I'm like,
life.
Colby, I need advice. I was already talking to Drew about my dating life before the show started.
Okay, we'll get to you. We're warming up over here. So I do have a very special guest calling in, and I want to get to her too. So.
Okay. So in regards to you and Drew, you want my take on it? Is that what you're asking? Or for Damona?
Yeah.
So,
no, give us.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know. For me, you two feel very, very solid. Nobody's going anywhere in this relationship. I see, both of you there helping each other, at the end, older, gray, and so I don't really see
he doesn't
any.
Believe I'll hang in.
Already gray.
Separation.
Older.
She might have made you gray. She might have made you gray, Drew.
Great hair.
That'll never happen with you two.
I think at the end of the day, Drew, this is a woman who has your back. You know that she will fight anyone and anything for you. And she has always had to deal with a lot of pressure. And insecurity can kind of come up from that, as it would for anyone. So I do feel you do your best to comfort her, but maybe just think of other ways that she needs to hear in her love language, right? That she needs to hear that would really make her feel even more secure in the relationship. Because, you got to remember, he looks at you and she's still thinking, this is a woman who's been with you 40 years. She's still looking at you saying, that's my man. I'm attracted to him. And biatch, you better back off. Like, right? He's not gonna tolerate that. And I feel like she also has her own creative element. And I feel like she dedicated her life so much to you and your career and your purpose as a unit, that now that we're empty nesters for a few years now, she's ready to go, okay, I also need to focus on me. I also need to focus on what my 2.0 look like. So and I know you do support her, but maybe have time to listen to her more, have time to kind of go, what's our next step together in this? As far as vacation, listen, you guys take a long vacation every year. So, I mean, you're always going somewhere, right? Whether it's Cuba, France, all sorts of yummy places. But yes, I agree with Andrew of, we need a vacation that's just the two of you. And just to remember, Drew, to woo her again, right? Not to take it for granted like she is going to be there. Woo her, surprise her. kind of try to think of things outside of the box for her, because I feel like that will really that will create calls for her. Because she's in a huge transformation at the moment. He is really in a big letting go of some safety vices that she may have been using in the past, kind of finding herself and kind of facing the world head on, I believe, in a way that she hasn't necessarily done previously. So she needs more support, giving up the funness of drinking or socializing in that way. That makes you very raw inside, right? She's got to kind of go, okay, now who am I without the supplement kind of helping? And she's doing that not just for herself, but as an act of love for her relationship, for her family. And so maybe working on giving her a little bit more credit on that, I think would be huge. Because for you, you're used to it day and night. You're used to kind of helping people get to that point. But recognizing, like, to me, I feel like this was such a big, bold move for her. And, just giving her that support and credit that she needs. And you have to keep, I know you do. I know, listen, you've got a hot wife. Keep telling her she's hot, right? Don't forget to spank the hiney. She likes a good spanking, your wife, I'm telling you. So don't forget to kind of give it a little nudgy nudge, okay?
I like that element of surprise tip too. From the dating expert and relationship expert perspective, like that surprise is important.
As a male, you have to be really explicit with us. You know what I mean? Because what's a surprise? So it's like, I don't know.
Okay, well, smacking her ass in the middle of nowhere, that might be a surprise, right? It may be just showing with flowers.
Maybe she gets irritated by that. Maybe it's too much of that.
Maybe showing up with just flowers randomly, not for a special occasion, but just because you saw them and thought they were beautiful, right? Just grabbing her and giving her a hug and a kiss and just saying, you're the most beautiful woman in the world to me. Or thank you so much for what you've done for me.
I'm crying.
Got it.
He does a lot of that already.
I get what you're saying, though. I get it.
He tries.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
But Andrew, do you think that's sage advice? Like that made me cry a little bit.
Oh,
I'm connected to Drew's dad, and as successful as Drew is, we all know, probably America knows. I don't know the world, but I'm getting. Drew didn't fail, so but Drew, there's something.
No.
You didn't fail. No, but that's not what it means. It's something else that Drew needs to figure out inside. It's deeper than, because of course from the outside he's a success. So, right? I'm not saying you're not. We know you're a success. I'm just saying inside, Drew, there's something your dad is trying to get out. I'm getting these words. That's the first time I'm connecting to you like this. You didn't. There might have been something that you felt you failed in.
It was more like he wouldn't let me fail. He wouldn't let me do, he had to control everything. And if I asserted myself, it was Panicsville for him. And that used to make me furious.
Wow. Who's the do-it-yourself guy? Somebody that would, that your dad? Oh God, did they know each other? Of course, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, because they're both there. I'm not used to, first of all, reading like rooms like this. I'm always a one-on-one. So
I've seen you in a room before.
Yeah, you're right.
You're doing a good job. The do-it-yourself guy is my dad. He's here probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drew, you didn't fail, and I think that maybe that is your dad saying that, letting you know all that pressure he put on you to not fail. He's acknowledging that you haven't. That could be something like that.
Makes sense.
Susan
has low self-esteem, believe it or not. I
have low self-esteem too, so he may be addressing that.
Well, that low self-esteem is what kept you humble. Otherwise, you would have been just like another Hollywood celebrity. in my opinion. You know, you needed that. You've got a very even keel. You haven't changed your expression the whole time I'm looking at you. It's pretty cool.
He looks like he looks scared a little bit.
No, I'm just listening. I when I'm listening, I have no expression, I suppose.
I have a question, Andrew. What does Drew's dad think about the spanking suggestion?
He says he already does it.
Yeah, see?
Wait, that's my surprise for him on Valentine's Day. Damn it!
Oh,
You must be psychic.
Psychics always ruining those
You
surprises.
Did we establish, by the way, that Colby's in Australia and that she's wearing red because it is Valentine's Day there now already?
It is
Valentine's Day,
Valentine's
Colby.
here. Yes, thank you.
Or did I reveal something I wasn't supposed to reveal? You guys are all like,
No, it's Valentine's Day here.
I don't know what
Yes.
you're doing there.
Well, I like that I got a psychic reading on Valentine's Day with Drew. It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
really does.
I'm doing a whole tour, Drew.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah,
And
a whole
people come
tour.
see
Yeah,
you?
and
If you're
Yeah,
in
so
Australia right now, you can go see Colby.
yeah, look it up on my website. There's a whole thing for the tour. But really quick, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, as you guys know, and we made the newspaper,
Yes.
Drew.
Yeah. You made the newspaper because you were freaking out in a bar doing a
Like,
She was running.
I'll send it to
I
you.
saw it.
We were on the front
Fantastic.
page
So
of the
funny.
newspaper.
I have bad
take
news.
a picture and send it to Caleb. Maybe you can throw it up on the screen.
I hate to say it,
Okay,
but
yeah.
Andrew is a Chiefs fan, so
Oh.
he was. Yeah, I'm sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, but
Drew,
well, go ahead, Andrew.
do you remember a dream where your father or a grandfather came to you and you were walking through a field or something? I feel a discussion about the meaning of life. It's something very deep.
Did I talk about that lately? I've had
No.
lots of very vivid dreams lately. I don't
I'm
remember
feeling
that. I never knew my grandfather, so I really wouldn't
You had a
recognize
dream about
him.
your dad, though. I know that.
Yeah, I did have some dreams about him, but Colby, you have something?
Yeah, I wanted to say, Andrew, Caleb, I texted it to you, just so you know.
Okay.
Andrew, I don't know if it's me or not, but I didn't know who my father was. It was a nice little surprise. But I always kept telling my mom it was the man in the field holding my hand by
Oh
a
my
chain link
God.
fence.
Okay.
And that
Wow.
was my father. We found out years and years later.
Mm.
I saw someone walking through a field.
You're working the
Yeah,
room,
okay.
Andrew.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty specific to walk through a field holding hands. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Very cool.
Wow, Colby, you got a lot of suppression in you, Colby. I know I'm not here to read you, but there's a lot of things.
I don't know. I think we might have a lot of disagreement with fellow people that I have depression issues,
Yes.
but maybe.
But
Oh,
I'm
this is
definitely
friendly.
you compartmentalize it very well, though. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to change gears a little bit here and bring in a caller who wants to talk to Colby. You're welcome to stay, Andrew. We're going to start with Colby and
Thank you,
Damona,
Andrew.
and thank you so much for tapping into Drew's soul. It feels good to me, right, Drew, to have that opportunity. Okay, good. So glad. And so I want to introduce Jessica. She is here today to talk to Colby and start off with Colby and hear what maybe Drew and Damona have to say too, if it works in that direction.
Wonderful.
So here we go.
Yeah. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, hello, go birds. So
Go Birds. That's right. In Australia, you guys, they keep saying fly, eagles, fly, which we know it, but nobody really knew the term go birds, which I thought was funny. So I taught a lot of people the new slang.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Okay,
for
so
you.
Jessica,
Yeah, I bet you were
are you
dying.
open to everything, sweetheart?
I'm a bit nervous to talk about career in a public setting, but So I'm a bit touchy with career, but love life, anyone coming
I
through.
would appreciate you sharing that. So thank you. And I will stay focused on love. So for me, I wrote down just a couple notes that were coming to me. And if we start getting into more career, just based on what I'm saying, you just back me away. Just
Okay.
go,
Okay. Cool.
right? Sound
Okay.
good?
Good. I know it
So
intersects.
I feel like,
yeah.
what'd you say?
I know it intersects sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things I keep getting is like there's this utter sweetness to you. Like I feel like there's a genuine sweetness, right? And it's almost a sweetness that sometimes I feel like because it's so genuine and that people don't take you as seriously as they could or should. You know, they're almost not giving you that credit or that credit due that you deserve, you know? And I feel like, you know, I just have to say though, like with relationship, we got to stop giving people so many chances. Like, I feel like you're so empathetic that you'll go, oh, okay, well, okay. And it's like, okay, at some point we have to be not so understanding in the relationships and go, no. If you can't show up for me, right, then this isn't going to work for me. Because you need a relationship, which is interesting, but you really need a relationship where someone is so accountable to you. Right? They need to kind of be on time. Like if someone's late, it creates anxiety. Like, so you are permitting a behavior that isn't in alignment with what you need as a long-term partner. So we need to just start saying, no, universe. Like, I don't care how hot they are. I don't care how great they are. I don't care how good they look on the book. If they're showing up 30 minutes late and not telling me why, then they're not going to work for me. Because otherwise, I feel like we have some anxiety underneath and they'll continue to trigger that anxiety for you, right? And so we just can't have that. Like that's not going to work for you in a long-term relationship. Does that make sense?
100%. Yes.
Great. And then I want to talk about children. Can we talk about children? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like there are no kids now. So is that correct? I just don't feel like we have kids yet. Am I correct with that?
Maybe you can.
Okay. So, but it's interesting because there's just, I guess I want to kind of say, because I feel like you're single, if I'm correct, Jessica. And I feel like you're just, listen, we can't be given up already. There's almost a point of view that is almost at a resolve of, well, if this doesn't happen or I don't have kids or it's okay. But if I listen to your soul's like, girl, I want some kids. Like, I want family. Like, no. And so I think the biggest thing is to get very clear on the type of person that is right for you, that you want in your life. And I feel like once you do that, so the biggest test that you've been given in the last year is boundaries. It's like, I just feel like we're just and repeating. And so they're just saying, okay, look, once you learn this lesson, we're going to bring your person in. So, so I want you to, and you are, not from what we're seeing here with you, but I feel like you are quirky. Like there's a very quirkiness to you. And you like really odd, it's just the word that's coming in, but oddball things. Like I think you like things that someone wouldn't expect you to like. And so I don't know if that's like comments or if it, to do with like oddball movies or, but there's this deeperness that I feel like people aren't expecting you to like, and you don't mind getting dirty. So I feel like if you got to get all dirty and all up in stuff and get all muddy and get in a swamp, like you are up for it, I was just in Australia, I am in Australia, but I went on this thing. And towards the end of it, I saw a sign saying, be careful, there could be leeches. It was like, holy mother of God, I wouldn't have gone in here if I had known that. I could see a leech right on you and you'd be like, oh, excuse me. I not a big deal for you.
Yes, ish. I'm definitely quirky. I'm definitely like, that is a word that I would describe as my, like, for sure.
Yeah. And so I feel like you're a person loves that. I feel like it's a male. So am I correct that
Yes.
we are connected to the opposite side? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this male I see, the one thing is he's got to make you laugh. It's not going to work if he doesn't make you laugh, right? And it's not just a
100%.
giggle. Like, I need you to pee yourself. Otherwise, he's not going to make it. So we got to have that guy that's really in there. But you are, I'm just going to be honest, you have been attracting non-committal men. You really are. And so we got to just nip that in the bud, and you got to start giving them so many chances, honey. Okay. And
I think we should bring Damona in to talk about that too, if she has any insight on that.
yeah, let's do it. Come on.
Okay, I know. Colby's going to make me bring out my intuitive love coaching here.
Bring out
But I
the
also feel like there was
woo-woo,
I can't stop it when I'm in the room with you. I feel like there was a significant relationship that ended and that you had a lot of expectation wrapped up in. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
Yes.
And so I feel like a lot of times the people that you've been meeting, you're also in a way comparing it to this illusion of a relationship that you wanted to have.
Yes.
Does that connect for you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, now switching back to love expert, Damona. I'm totally with Colby that these boundaries are going to be really important and really clarifying. Like, it's almost like you need to make a list of behaviors that I can accept and behaviors I will not accept. What is a sign that I have fallen into that pattern, or I have sort of crossed myself and my relationship goals and needs, so that when you're in the moment, because I feel also like that energy of the quirky, the bubbly, like when you get into the momentum of it, it's so exciting. It like takes you over. And then you're like, oh yeah, wait, I do want to have kids. I want all of these other things that I'm not getting from some of these shorter term relationships. Does that make sense?
Yes. I talked to my therapist today, and it was all about boundaries. And my big thing is that people not taking me seriously. So I give away because I don't have enough boundaries. And so that's that's really the deep healing that I'm working on, is like, I have that feeling of people not taking me seriously. So I give a lot.
I'm going to give you a reframe on that, because I don't know if it's that people are not taking you seriously. I just wonder if you're taking yourself seriously, and these boundaries that you've set for yourself, if holding to them sometimes makes you feel like you are getting further from your relationship goal. And to think of it like that. It's not, don't externalize it. It's not about the other person. It's about you being in integrity with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I picked up, is that she's afraid if she has boundaries, nobody will love her.
Right.
Oh, yes. That's it. Mm-hmm.
All right. And
That
in
makes
this
sense.
past relationship, this guy promised you, I feel like he literally promised you this idea of a future. Like, it's not just that this was all in your head, that you imagined this, or that you were putting more into it. I literally think his words, but his actions weren't following up. And so he was kind of giving you what you wanted to hear. And I think that kept you in longer than you should have been or could have been in it.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow. Andrew, do you have anything to add to that before I let you go? What? Ooh,
You know,
okay.
I early on, I had mentioned red flags, and how if women would pay attention to them, relationships might be a little easier. I was connected right to her. She's the one that doesn't pay attention. She's had all the red flags. She ignores them. That's her own insecurities. She needs to love herself. When you love yourself, you're easier to love. There's certain things about yourself that you're way too hard and overcritical of. You have a person out there, you will be loved. I see it. The child, it's a good chance, I see. But when you find a way to love yourself on another level, the person's going to come and love you the same way. So start trusting your gut, Jessica.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of what the work I've been doing, just like is just trying to love myself first before jumping into a relationship. So that all makes sense because I feel like I'm starting to get more confidence to like go out there and really not pick someone who's what you, Colby, were saying. So that's the work that I've been doing. Right. So this all makes sense to me.
And as a dating expert,
for a reason, Jessica. All the people that are in your past, and this goes for everyone, everyone's in your past for a reason. A lot of women entertain these men. They break up with these abusive men, and then they see that maybe they didn't find what they thought they could have, and they take the abusive men back. At your demise.
I know that story.
Yeah.
Drew's not that one, but it's true.
It's
true. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears a little. Thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us today. For opening up your heart and your soul and helping us understand how therapy works, and looking for reasons to change for the better for yourself, and using psychic mediums. And they're sort of like psychic therapists. It's always fun to hear different personalities and hear their points of view. And they all seem to be going together today. How do you feel, Drew? Do you think these were, it's good to
she has a therapist, so she needs something a little more.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, it's just good to have someone to bounce your thoughts off of. And somebody who has psychic ability is always fun because they can dig right into something that you're like, oh, wow, how'd you know that? So, but thank you so much for joining us. And I hope it all works out for you. And also, Andrew, you can find Andrew Anderson at the, they can email you at bookapsychicreading.com. Wait, what is your email again, or your website?
Psychicmediumreading.org.
Okay, yeah, psychicmediumreading.org. And he's in Chicago. Do you see people in person, or is it strictly like? Okay, so you can, if you're in the Chicago area, you can go visit him and get some help and guidance spiritually. And we'll see you again soon. I really appreciated last week's show. You were really open and honest about a lot of things that we were looking into. And we were looking into the Black Hawk helicopter that crashed into the airplane. And of course, we've heard nothing since. And then also we talked a little bit about Kanye West and Andrew doesn't hold back when it comes to politics or any kind of rational stuff that's going on. But we will have you back soon. And thank you again for doing this.
Thank you.
Love episode today.
Oh, thank you. Bye, everybody.
So,
Bye, Andrew. Thank you.
So
Colby,
we have another person asking questions of the love experts next. So we're going to put you in the third seat for now. And we have Eric, who's calling in, who has a question for Dr. Drew.
Eric. Oh, no audio.
Unmute yourself.
Hold on. You may be muted on your end. There we go.
I think it mutes you when you're in the waiting room or whatever. Okay.
Nope.
Let's see.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
There we are. Hey, man.
So I am an OnlyFans content creator. So my question for you is, how can I get my relationship with sex back while working in the sex industry?
You're gonna have to be more specific about what's happening, or is it that the whole thing is starting to lose its luster or interest, or are you feeling disgusted with something, or are you having difficulty connecting with people?
It's more so like having sex for fun it's like I when I do have it, it's like, why am I exhausting my efforts when I could be saving it for work? So I really don't have a lot of sex for fun anymore.
What about for intimacy?
or that.
Did you ever have it for intimacy?
I did prior, yes. Not a lot, but yes.
What was preventing you from doing that?
I would say I wasn't interested in having an intimate relationship with.
Did you have trauma growing up?
No, surprisingly, no.
No sexual trauma, nothing, no physical abuse, nothing like that.
No.
Because what often happens in this kind of work you're into is people develop intimacy disorders, and it becomes almost impossible. Do you see this? I see this all the time. Where it becomes almost impossible to achieve intimacy or even have a relationship. And when people come in from that industry into treatment for sex addiction, they're always like, I just want to have a relationship. I'm talking to Damona now rather than Eric for a second, because I'm guessing you see some of this stuff too.
You need the tools if you haven't built the tools.
Well, it's usually trauma in the way. There's almost always some trauma. And if it wasn't childhood trauma, you may have traumatized yourself with the whatever work you're doing too.
Yeah.
That's back.
Or even something as a, now I'm intuitively tuning in. But was there like a relationship when you were younger, like in your 20s, where with someone older that was, is that annoying? You know what I'm talking about. Because I feel like that also sort of set the foundation for your understanding of intimacy, or maybe created some confusion around your understanding of intimacy.
Yeah, when I was first coming out, my first relationship was with someone who was about 8 years older than me, and it did not.
How old were you?
I was 23.
Okay. So that's that.
Yeah, it's still a formative time in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially he just had come out.
Right.
He's trying to get relationships going, and it's like for real.
Right. And to
somebody be mistreated or whatever happened there. I don't know. Yeah.
And that's a time you're trying to, be your authentic self as well. And to not feel safe, like you can be, to be your authentic self. And even as someone working in the sex industry, there's a lot of, the gaze is on you. It's a lot about the impression of you, and a lot about the image that you put out there. Mm-hmm. And so going back to what Dr. Drew was saying, right? It's about that's a one-way communication. And it's a totally different experience than having that connection with another person.
And it's sort of confusing arousal and intensity with something a little more nourishing. And it may not be the right time for you too. You may not be ready for this. I'm not saying you have to do something. I'm just saying that's usually where this stuff goes.
So how do we help him, Dr. Drew?
He's going to give him something to think about. I mean, we can't, look, you can't, we can't, you can only do so much in this kind of setting. You can raise the issues, then go, look into that. There's a lot of material out there. Susan, do you want to address anything with him? You seem to be looking over here.
No, I mean, I think that the internet and porn and maybe being a what do you call it? Performer or whatever. What do they call it? I don't know the word for it. But anyways.
Sex worker.
No, I mean, I don't, he's on the internet.
I'm dying.
Okay,
Colby, go ahead, Colby.
I'm done to hear everybody.
Wait, I just wanted to say that we're hyper-stimulated by sex on the internet, and it does bring you to a different level than when you're, in a normal relationship. You have to, you're not using fantasy to have, a relationship. If you just want to have sex and, be intimate with somebody, it's a lot different than when you're stimulated by knowing that you're making money or you're getting gratitude for how hot you look or whatever. It's just a different dimension. So, but porn is just, I find it a little evil because it kind of hyper-stimulates us, but I'll let Colby go.
Okay. So before I even met you, Eric, I wrote down porn star or something around porn. I wrote that down. a path to mainstream film. So I think that's your end goal, is to somehow figure out more mainstream. But I feel like there's just because you are so sensitive, I feel like there's a part of you that feels as if you're selling your soul. And that's what's kind of creating a deeper absence. But I also feel like, because there's so much pressure on your OnlyFans or what you're doing, on that you're having some performance anxiety, meaning like you need to make sure you are on top, on guard, on point, and that if we have it for relaxation or fun, you're kind of wasting the goods, so to speak. You're wasting the energy, you're wasting the talent, you're wasting the goods. And so that to me is creating a little bit of struggle within. So can you understand that?
That's completely accurate. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And so it's difficult too, because you're just really, so you are honestly stuck in this particular niche of a career at the current moment. You know you need to do it, but you're not passionate about it anymore. You're doing it because of the money. You need to support yourself. You have a lifestyle at this point. I feel like, you've got clients, a fan base, we have all of that. So there's such a fear of walking away. And if I walk away, will I be good enough in another endeavor? Right? You understand that. And so, but it's so tricky, because I feel like you desperately want true love, true connectiveness. But you're seeing just nothing but emptiness in the people you're connecting with. And so it's feeling disheartening. Like, okay, well, what's the point?
Yeah, that's not a real relationship. It's just a sexual relationship. It doesn't have a mental capacity to it. Feels good, but then when it's over, it's over. It doesn't sustain itself.
Eric, I feel like, first and foremost, the line of work you're in isn't in alignment with your soul anymore. It might have been at one point. It might have worked for you at one point. But I feel like as you are becoming more mature, becoming more attuned to the life you want to have, this particular profession really isn't aligning. So I want to encourage you to have that confidence to go, I am worthy of a different path for me. And what does that path look like? And as far as a relationship, this is just my intuitive advice, and I'm sure Damona and Drew have something they certainly can bring to the table here. But I'm feeling, when you start to meet someone that you feel interested in on a romantic level, just maybe refrain from the intimacy part for a bit. Really give a chance to get to know them first. Just explain to them, this is why it's important to you. You want to have depth in a relationship. You want to work on communication, and that, the intimacy part, you're open to coming later, but this is what you need at this point, because you need to start to build trust within relationships for yourself. So Damona, Drew, what do you think on that?
Yeah, we're both nodding our heads. It is, if you stand in front of the gay lesbian bookshelves in the bookstore, a lot of it is about how do you have intimacy in a gay relationship, because a lot of the men coming at you may not be interested in that. And how do you know, right? It's really challenging, very challenging. And you have to be really ready yourself. I don't know. That's up to you entirely. But it is tough, man.
Yeah. And layering in that I don't know if you're meeting people who recognize you, or who have seen your work. But that adds another layer of expectation, and also this complicates the ability to see that person, to know that they're seeing you authentically.
And how do you know? That's what I'm feeling bad for him. It's like, how does he know? And that's to Colby's point. I guess if you take your time, people will disappear if they're interested in something different. I guess it boils down to that. But that too is kind of painful. That's painful by itself.
Yeah.
So long distance relationship, friends first.
Yes. Yes. Is it a
But then
celebrity?
it might just turn into like what he's doing on OnlyFans if he's not in person. You know what I mean? It won't be the real,
It is so challenging. I mean, if you're really ready, I mean, I would want a therapist in your corner. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I really would, because it's so difficult, so painful.
And if this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, I mean, do you want to be on OnlyFans the rest of your life, or do you?
Well, we don't.
Do you have another?
We shouldn't be telling him what to do. We're not deciding for you, Eric, what to do.
Eric wants to talk.
Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
No, so Colby, back to what you said, that I'm not passionate about anymore. So I am about 1 year sober right now, and when I've found clarity and sobriety that this is so not me anymore. It is it only affords me a lifestyle that I have gotten comfortable with, but it's not. You totally read that completely right. That it doesn't align with my soul, but it does pay the bills. Very well.
Yes.
It's hard. Really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
So sober from alcohol or drugs?
Drugs.
Okay.
There are therapists out there that specialize in getting people out of this industry for the very reason you just described. Like, it's like, how do I extract myself? It's doing a lot for me at the same time.
It's got to be hard. It's hard to balance both and be.
But one thing I'd love to say, Eric, is when I tune into your soul, you have a glow, you have an aura, and I feel like there's so much for you to do, right? And maybe you start by talking about the industry and why it doesn't work, and how to help other young people who are entertaining the idea, thinking it's more than it is. And the other idea, again, when we go to refraining for the moment, when you meet someone for a coffee, is to keep it at coffee, because I feel like they're expecting you, I mean, not to get too graphic, but I feel like they're expecting you to be this, kind of king in the bedroom, and maybe you're just feeling like you want to hug or you want to snuggle. And I feel like you feel pressured to do things sexually that it's not really your thing. It's what you needed to do for work, but it's not really something you want in your personal, intimate life. And so just, again, as we told Jessica earlier, it's okay to have boundaries about what you want, okay? And I want to encourage you to write a book, sweetheart. I just feel like a book is there.
I've been told that several times.
I was feeling books too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like I could write a book, a long book.
Yes.
Yeah. And as you go on these dates, it's
Eric, huh?
As you go on these dates, I say in my book, F the Fairy Tale, I say that you want to own the elephant in the room. So all of the stuff that you just shared with us about where your boundaries are, what your goals are. Sometimes people are afraid to share that because they're like, what if I say that and then they run away? If they run away, good. They weren't for you and they were part of that old pattern.
That's right.
So just name it from the beginning. Like, I'm trying something different. I talked to Dr. Drew and Damona and Colby, and they said, this is where I'm at right now. And then they'll either buy into that experience or they will self-select out. And that's okay. Either way.
Yeah. And it's really important. So when Damona, to your point, right? And I tell my students, as you know, like my students will say, well, I don't want my family to know I'm doing this. I don't want to. I think you have to own who you are, or you will never be in your authentic self. I mean, the minute I met my now husband, first thing out of my mouth is, I do spiritual work as a psychic medium. He was like, oh, okay, what is that? And he just was open to learning about it, right? But then when I told him his grandmother Helen was talking to me, he was like, okay, there's something here. But it's okay. You need someone that's going to fully accept you.
Yeah.
And Eric, you're such a beautiful sweetheart. And one other thing, if you don't mind, and again, I hope, and if it doesn't resonate, you just tell me it doesn't. But I want you to release any shame you are feeling around the work that you are doing, like that it's not in alignment anymore. And it's okay. You're working. You're in transition. Give yourself credit. I am in transition of creating the life I desire and deserve.
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
it's very validating, and because it definitely there is shame there, being like coming with the clarity that I was talking about. It's like, wow, what have I done? Almost.
Yeah.
It's great. It's all part of your recovery. It's wonderful. Really,
Yeah.
it should be very positive.
Are you doing a 12-step?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, keep up with that. Do the 12 steps. Get yourself, just get your head around that. And it's one day at a time here. But thank you so much for opening up your heart
Well done,
and your
Eric.
soul.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
We're going to quickly switch over to a woman who's been on the show previously. Green Girl is coming in. Yeah, we want, speaking of addiction and
She can be full
and
paraphernalia.
intrigue. We talked to Green Girl last week about Kanye West and his stunt on the red carpet with
Now he's
his.
separating from his wife.
Well, that might just be hearsay. That's happening.
Green Girl,
Let's let Green Girl talk about it. But we like Green Girl's perspective because she's been following Kanye for 3 years, and we were going back and forth all weekend during the game, watching what was going on with his rants on X, his racial slurs, his
Okay, when I said 5 minutes, that was 5 minutes ago.
So anyways, I know Green Girl had a few questions for Drew about this. Do we have her there, Kaleb?
She's here, but I don't hear her. Green Girl.
She's muted.
Everybody has to
There
unmute
she is.
themselves. And I want to hear, she should after I bring in, I have to jump out of here in a second, but Colby feel like she has something to say about Kanye too. She's like,
Yeah, we will. But I want Drew to.
I do. Yeah.
Green Girl, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
is that separation for real, Colby? Come on, tell me.
Can you guys hear me?
With the wife?
Yeah, we hear you.
With
Colby?
Kanye.
No.
No, not really. Oh, there's Green Girl.
There she is.
In her usual attire. Oh my God, you're so funny.
Thanks for calling. And I know you had some questions for Drew. I
right,
wanted
what's
you
going
to
on?
have an opportunity to ask him before he has to jump on the air with
Well,
Laura
first I
Ingram.
wanna call- I wanna-
yes,
in the
that's why he's
spirit-
wearing a tie today, by the way.
Yeah.
I just want to let you guys know. But
What's
how are
happening?
you?
well, in the spirit of calling out, I want
We
to
still
start
don't
by
have
calling
sound, I
out
don't think.
Drew.
Is she talking? Are her
Can you
lips
hear me?
moving?
Looks fabulous, though.
I know.
I love this look.
You need to unmute yours.
There you
There
are.
you go.
There you are.
I can
You're
hear
back.
you.
Okay. I
Okay,
in
we
the
got you now.
spirit- All right. In the spirit of the show's name, calling out, I want to start by calling out Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew, that was fake news today, planted by some anonymous source in the Daily Mail about Bianca and Ye breaking up. There's a lot of
Okay.
weird things happening. We just got confirmation about 10 minutes ago that his new rep, Milo Yiannopoulos, as you might know, a British provocateur, is now representing Bianca and Ye. He was their former chief of staff, and he's back as of 5 days ago. He just corrected the headlines in the Hollywood Reporter. And I've just been dealing with a fan base of 200,000 Kanye stans, and it feels like I've been babysitting them. And the more and Drew said I was obsessed. He said I told Susan I was obsessed with Kanye, and I call it dedication, but I definitely think the closer and the deeper I get into this, the more mentally ill I'm becoming. And that's the fan base he's also attracting. And the things are getting really, really crazy. And it's like, very nuts what's happening, because there's people that are defending every single thing he's doing. And then if I even am neutral, they're like, fuck you for not defending him still. And I'm like, he just said this and that. So I'm trying to stay as objective as possible, but they're taking out their anger on him, on me, when I'm simply a news source. And I just feel like I still want to save this guy, but there's no saving someone like him. But all these
No, you
people
can't save. You can, people, if you save people, they are eternally in need of saving, and he needs not a rescuer right now. He actually needs more like a security guard to get him sort of contained, so he gets back on his medication and things, and he may end up in a locked unit with exactly that. But your posts have been hysterical, nonetheless. So thank you for the entertainment, but I worry that you get sucked into this thing, and it feels like a dark place it takes you.
I'm probably every time I'm in this zone, it's the darkest place. And I think I'm picking up on all of the energy of the vultures in his camp. There's a lot of demonic energy that's attached to him. And when I was there, it was the most demonic time of my life. And I finally got out, but now I'm sucked back in, and I haven't been eating. I'm down 6 pounds in 5 days, which is amazing. Now I know why Bianca's so thin. It probably wasn't the Ozempic. It was probably
Well, Green Girl, again, we appreciate the entertainment, even when it's at your apparently even when it's at your expense. Yeah. So apologies for us laughing,
I just feel like it's something I felt yesterday that I was actually becoming him. I was like lashing, almost taking on. It's almost like I'm method acting, and I'm taking on his struggle. I don't know why. There's this soul tie or something, because I started lashing out at people. He almost enables my bad behavior.
Hold on. You're getting weird on me. So I'm gonna hand over to Colby. I've got to jump off here.
Also, wait, before you go, really quick though, we were talking about sex addiction, how Kanye has a sex addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole episode on the red carpet was basically him doing a porn in public, okay? Yeah. And then the next thing he did is he posted porn on X. And I called out that, sex addicts lose their lives, lose their jobs. They die.
And Green Girl has said before that she thought he was a sex addict.
And we were like, well, what's next? All he has left is porn. And what did he do?
Yeah.
And then Elon stopped following him. And then, he had all these racial slurs against the Jews.
Here's the thing about addictions generally, whether it's a behavior addiction or a chemical addiction. The hallmark is loss. You lose things. You lose important relationships. You lose money. You lose loss, until the loss accumulates to the point that either you nearly lose your life or you lose something else that gets your attention and causes you to want to change. He ain't there. And he's also got bipolar disorder on top of that, which can make it really difficult to see these things when you're in it. The best thing that could happen if he really is getting sort of hypomanic is if he ends up in a hospital, which he's been before.
Right.
That'd be a good thing for him. Now, whether or not he wants to deal with the addiction part. Did I also hear that he does nitrous or something too?
Yes.
Nitrous, extremely dangerous, ascending polyneuropathy, sudden death. And guess what? Psychotic symptoms. So he has two things going, charging up his bipolar disorder. So I don't know. We shouldn't feel any differently about him than if we saw somebody with a severe infection and they weren't getting treatment. We should feel bad. We should, but
people aren't feeling.
And we should want to put them somewhere.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They're not feeling. People aren't feeling bad though. Most people that aren't following it, they're not looking at it like he's a human. They never have.
No, I know. And you always your frame on it is, he's seeking attention and he's doing, which is true. He's probably doing all these things, and somehow he has needed that in order.
He needs that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, he is attention seeking, but he also there's something off in his brain where he's unable to connect. He has paranoia where he doesn't trust people that are trying to do right by him.
Right, and that's probably the hypomania and stuff.
So I'm going to swap Dr. Drew out with Damona because Drew has a hit on Fox. He might be back. We're going to be talking to Robin about her love life, so he might want to chime in on that. But
all right.
Thank you, Dr. Drew, for joining, calling out.
Colby, have fun in Australia.
Love you. I can't wait to go on
Green girl,
vacation.
keep
Thank
posting,
you.
keep posting,
I
girl.
was too
I'm
crazy
dying.
for
Literally,
Dr. Drew. He
I'll be
couldn't solve
walking
the problem.
and I'll just start laughing out loud
Thank
at your
you.
post.
Drew's your follower now, so yeah.
I gotta.
I'm gonna
Be
hide.
prepared.
I told you I'm gonna hide Drew from my story if he doesn't shape up.
He's like a little girl on his phone. He sees everything. He's constantly on his phone. He's like a 13-year-old. And,
Oh, no.
the kids used to always complain at the dinner table. He's always on his phone like a 13-year-old, but he knows everything that's going on. Okay. So he is watching you guys out there. So anyways, Damona's here with Colby. I want them to touch on this subject a little bit because I got sucked into the whole Kanye thing too. I mean, I was during the Super Bowl, I saw the ad and he was in it. Yes, I am literally like, I miss the guy. He got taken off of X and he's, it's like, oh gosh, it's quiet now. Like I was
Susan
going down
texted me.
that
I
rabbit
miss
hole.
Yay.
I do. And I worry about him too, because apparently he gave away 2 Maybachs, all his clothes. He was faking his death or something. I don't know, or he was thinking about it. But then, the problem is he lost jobs. He lost his man. He fired a bunch of people. Things are changing. And that's the sex addiction world that takes over these bodies, this hyperstimulation of wanting to be seen or doing sexual things, is sort of like taking a drug, and you're always high. And then when you're not high, you're low. So then that's where
Right.
suicide comes in, or just making mistakes, in your life or being called out. I'm sure after that event, he was called out, and so was Bianca. But, and I know Kim called her out or called him out, but I don't think the repercussions were what they expected. They expected something else. And that's where I want Colby and Damona to come in, because on a spiritual level, like, we can maybe give Green Girl a little advice on how to deal with her emotions and all of this as well.
Like,
Yeah,
I shouldn't care
there are
this
people
much.
that just. But there are people that just create chaos. Like he thrives in chaos, and so when you're a part of that ecosystem of chaos, it's impossible to not get caught up in the tornado. It's impossible to not feel the repercussions of that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to seek shelter because the tornado is coming and it's blowing through. And as long as you're consuming it in some way, whether it's on social media or just emotionally, it's impossible to not let that affect you. You almost, just the same way, like someone who has an addiction does have to cut themselves off from that stimulation,
You
from
need
that
to
thing that they're
totally
addicted
stop,
to.
Go cold turkey, stay away from everybody, change your life, find a higher power. Even though he says he's religious and he believes in Jesus and all this, he's not in touch with that right now.
Mm-hmm.
He isn't at a stable part of his life, but he also has a mental disorder. So, he has mental issues, and part of it is sex addiction, maybe also substance abuse. And we know he doesn't like his Jewish doctors. We've heard it a million times on X and Caps. But it's also, why are we socially just putting up with this and not getting him help? And I think Green Girl is really.
Like, people love the chaos. I love the chaos. I can't get enough of it. I'm so addicted to the chaos. No one's willing to admit it.
The first step is admitting you have a problem. So you're beginning.
I get
towards
bored. Like, I
recovery.
don't care. Like, it's so interesting what's happening. No one can look away. I'm not interested in playing board games with friends from high school. I don't care about going to Bath and Body Works and buying lotion. I'm not interested. I don't even care about showering. I love the mind and all the nuttiness that's happening. So if it's not this chaos, it's going to be something else. But we also have to look at him like a human. And I'm curious if any of the psychics have any idea of what's coming.
It looks like Colby disconnected. I'm looking.
Oh,
She's not in the
but she
call
was
right
just
now.
She was just about
here.
to say something really good. She said she had something.
All right.
Robin, if you could,
I don't know.
Robin, if
Let's
you could
let
reach out to her and see.
Damona speak to that.
Yeah, let me look.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
Damona might
really
know.
feel like my question is, where are his kids and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Because, right?
So his daughter is 11. So, which is a really, it's an age where everything you do, your kids model. Okay. And apparently, her stepmother dresses quite provocatively, a lot like her mother does. Obviously, I just saw a picture of her in an article with her buns hanging out, and it's not unusual for that family to be half nude. But this is where where sex addiction starts. Okay, from what I've read, and honestly, it's like these kids are affected, and I think part of the reason they took him off X and they did all this stuff was because the porn started coming into play. He had 31 million.
That doesn't make
viewers,
any sense, though, Susan. It makes no sense. He said way worse stuff. He was supporting abuse.
I know.
And then
I think it just finally somebody got it through to Elon and they just pulled the plug.
He deactivated himself. Elon didn't kick him off.
Good.
He deactivated, but here's the thing. Here's the moral issue here. X allows porn. So why is it only bad when Kanye West is posting porn? That's the issue I have with the whole situation.
He has 31 million followers.
So do the biggest porn stars. Kanye's taking the fall for Elon's allowing porn. Even before Elon, they allowed porn. X is the one platform that allows porn. My friend was a porn star. He had his full 20-minute videos on Twitter when it was Twitter. And full-on videos, nothing censored. So what Kanye did is nothing new. I know argue
it's still like that.
His other posts were a lot more offensive, I would argue, than the porn.
Right. But I agree. But I think I'm glad maybe Kim said if you don't take that off of X, you're never going to see your kids again. I don't know.
That's what I've been feeling.
I could go watch her sex tape right now if I wanted to. Kim had, that would be space.
Ain't that true?
It's true. It wasn't very good.
So true. I mean, that really put her on the map. This is the thing, like chaos attracts chaos. But I do feel like but that all happened before they had kids. So I do feel like there's some element of the kids and what the kids are seeing, how the kids are feeling that's influencing this.
That Santa baby video where Kim was crawling around on Christmas like a big whore. That one was up.
Yeah, they all need to take a look at themselves and how they're affecting the future generations. I mean,
the whole entire world was calling her a hoe and a whore. It was horrible language, but that's what people were saying.
No, I know, but it isn't. It's not mainstream. It's off. We're living in a new generation. We're hyper stimulated by porn. We're all looking at it. Our kids are starting to look at it. The world is being infected by this. It just isn't. And there is a problem that occurs that comes out of that, which is called sex addiction and love addiction. And, you end up, with your OnlyFans and then you can't have a relationship with somebody. And, people would rather watch porn than have a relationship. And that's happening a lot in this generation.
Yeah, and I would argue that the Kardashians paved the way for a lot of unrealistic beauty expectations and sexuality, but I also think Kanye is also doing the same. They're both kind of leading the masses right now into that direction.
He's always pushing the envelope a little bit farther, though. Did Colby come back, or did we scare her away?
We scared her away. His delivery is very bad. It's very bad. His delivery is very bad, but it's what shakes things up. But it's at the point now where it's like the boy who cried wolf, where he's talking so much that nobody cares. That's also kind of happening.
That's definitely happening. And I think there's a difference, just to go back to the Kardashian effect. There's a difference when it's on her terms,
Yes.
The Santa baby video was on her terms. And even though she didn't really control the narrative, once it's out there, she is still choosing what this is like core Kardashian.
Right.
We control the image that is put out there. And in this situation, she's non-control anymore.
Yeah,
they have no control over him.
And I don't know. I saw Emily post a clip. Your friend, she's part of this following Kanye group, and she's been on the show before. And honestly, the Kardashians, she was mentioning how she's a momager to an 11-year-old and how it's getting in the way of her career and how blah blah blah. And I was thinking to myself, why don't you just not do that? Why don't you just let her be a kid?
He doesn't
why
have
do
a
you
choice.
have to have everything?
Kris Jenner's
because you're already
control.
breeding a sex addict. They're modeling you. They're dressing like you. You're their role model. You have to. And to see, if she was a little boy, it would be worse because porn at that age for a boy is game on, and then they isolate, and then they never have partners, and then one day they're, married, and that doesn't work out. So, it's very difficult to separate ourselves from this internet phenomenon. And why it's okay, I don't know. It's like football; it never goes away. It got porn, got football, just never goes away. And there's a lot of money behind it. Sexuality is good. I'm all pro sexuality and having a sexual relationship. But I'm not a pussy about that. But I see a generation of kids getting hypersexualized, and it's damaging for our future. And China is going to be laughing their asses off. Anyways, I
think that's
I don't know
all
what
for
happened
me.
to Colby. Okay, so
Well, if Colby hops back on, I'll just be listening on the sides.
Okay, so we have a relationship expert here, Damona, who also is an intuitive. So we have a caller. Speaking of China, laughing their ass off, we have a caller named Jiaying. Hello, Jiaying. How are you? Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello. Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. I'm here with Damona Hoffman. Our psychic fell off the other end of the world. She's in Australia, and I don't know what happened. Maybe her internet went out or something. But I do want to know if you have any love questions for our special love expert, Damona Hoffman.
How to communicate with your partner without getting the ego involved?
Oh, how to communicate with your partner without getting the ego involved. Well, a lot of times when we are communicating with our partners or with a potential partner, we are really focused on our goals, our outcomes. And so when we are communicating, we're not really listening, we're not really connecting. We're either pushing our agenda or waiting for our turn to speak. So what I recommend for clients is to slow everything down and to really, really listen and not be afraid of the pause. And a lot of times we're conditioned to think of the pause as awkward and to rush in to fill it. I'm intentionally pausing, but I'm like, wait, I'm on air. Everyone's going to think something's wrong. But we tend to want to rush in to fill the pause. But a lot of discovery comes when you can ask your partner's questions and then pause and truly listen to what their response is without jumping in and trying to finish their sentences or push your own agenda of what you want. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, that's really makes sense. I'll just speak slow and pause, like take a deep breath, just like.
You don't necessarily have to speak slowly.
Yeah,
Listen
you're
slowly,
so
though.
smart. I want to ask another question that's been bugging me.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what happens if you are your partner is not they are cranky in the morning?
Are they always cranky in the morning?
Yeah, it's just in the morning they're just different, and they don't want they don't want loud voice. They don't want just slow down. Just my energy can be triggering them when I'm just being like, let's go, talking like a normal voice. They think I'm just screaming, but I am just being me.
I feel like that with Drew. He's super hyper in the morning, and I'm very slow to wake up. So I get it. I understand.
I'm the opposite. I'm with you, Jiaying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I open my eye,
so-
I'm getting on stage. I don't need to take 2 minutes to get over. But for my partner, they will need their morning routine. They want to be having the time to wake up. Wake up is a process. For me, it's like you open your eye, your life starts. Boom, boom, boom. But I mean,
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are there things that your partner does that are hard for you to are there things that you do that your partner seems annoyed by or that are hard for you to understand?
Let me think. Well, like I want things to be on a faster pace. He likes things to go slow.
Okay, so what if your partner said to you, "Can you just go slower?"
No, I'll be like, no.
Can you just go? You'd be right.
I can't.
So my point is, we're all wired differently, and and I'm with you. I'm the Energizer Bunny in the morning, and I want to go and talk. And he's my husband is a much slower burn. Sounds like Dr. Drew is the same way.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm slow. He's wide awake, like ready to run.
And you have to respect that.
Yes.
I mean, you've been together for 40 years.
Yes.
So how would you handle that, Susan?
Sometimes I just look at him and I'm just like, well, I'm the slow one. So I'm just like, not ready for this energy right now. Could you just let me have my coffee first? And then he goes, oh, okay. But he's always like, okay, I need, I need 10 things like before I'm still wiping the crust off my eyeballs. Like,
oh my God, that's the word
like,
he used to talk to me. He's like, I'm wiping the crust off my eyes right now. What I'm doing. The same word he said to me. I'm dead.
Right. So you have to respect his boundary there. I mean, I'm sure there are other people in your life that you can call.
Dr. Hoffman, when I open my eyes now, I remove myself from the room. I'm not there because I can't control myself. I don't know what I'll be doing. So I
That's a great solution.
I keep myself away from him, like stuff because I'm gonna be too loud and I'll feel bad for being me. But when he's up, he's going, he's fine. But I can't help. I just don't know how loud I'm being talking, and I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. I think that's a great solution, and
so
there's
it's working so far.
There's this myth that a healthy couple needs to be together all the time, needs to agree on everything all the time. A healthy couple needs their space, and we all have our different biorhythms. So it sounds like in that you're finding what is comfortable for you, and if you need to go into another room to be loud and call a friend and get your energy out in a different way, then that works for your relationship. And then at the same time, you can set your own boundaries and expectations with your partner when there's something like
so
you
better.
need him to move a little faster.
It's so much better to put space physically. Because I can't, like, I'll get angry if I'm just like, hey, what do you want to eat for lunch, breakfast? He'll be like, you're screaming. I'll be like, I'm just talking. So I can't change myself, but I can't not bug him. So I'm just like, I feel like it's bad for me if I just go in there and be like, what coffee do you want? He's like, you're screaming. I'll be like, I'm just talking to you. Then it become a fight. Because it shouldn't be a fight. Because he just
get your hearing checked. That would be the first thing, is get your hearing checked to make sure you're actually speaking
I had
at a normal level.
conversation with Drew when we were dating. And
Right?
we would be talking at dinner and he would just start yelling, like politically or about whatever. And I was like, why are you screaming at me? And he's like, I'm not screaming. I'm just having a conversation right now. And I was like,
that's
okay, but
you
it
think I'll
took
keep yelling at
time.
him? I'm like, I don't have the energy to yell at you. Like, I
I
can
time
barely
to get
speak
used
English.
to it. Have you heard, Drew? Like everything's, an emergency, when he
Same
talks.
here.
And-
It is.
Yeah, but
I've
learned to
Kaleb
just
here.
sort of like say, okay, that's the way he is. What?
Kaleb here. So my wife says the same thing about me. She's been saying it since the very start of us dating. And the reason why is because I started practicing projecting my voice so much for like being on TV and making shows that I don't remember to turn it off when I'm just talking to her from across the hall. She's like, why are you yelling? I'm like, I'm just projecting my voice. I forget it's just you, not like a whole audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to switch.
Can I tell you, I actually, you know what? I did the same thing, Kaleb, and it landed me in speech therapy. I actually had to go to speech therapy.
I know.
And my speech therapist, I swear to you, my speech therapist was like, I'm right here. You don't have to speak so loudly. So I actually had to learn how to
Drew
speak
was an
more
opera
quietly.
singer. Same thing. My son, same thing.
Right?
We just have really loud voices. And, I'm not like that. Like I have to keep up. It's hard.
But the good thing in your relationship dilemma is that it's consistent. So at least then you know what irritates him, you know what his biorhythms are, and you can anticipate it. It's a lot harder if you were to say to me, my partner gets cranky all the time and I don't know why, or it's at erratic times and I'm not sure what's causing it, then it's a lot. Then that requires more digging to figure out what's causing it. But if you already know, look, he's just slow to wake up, I talk at a loud volume, then you know what you can do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he's
he just needs
cranky
to be
all the
honest.
time, yeah, if he's cranky all the time, he's probably not giving him BJs. That would be the reason why he's not getting any blowjob. That can be easily fixed.
He's like, I thought you came in here to give me a BJ. Instead, I'm get this loud voice and
Yeah,
Now I'm
he's
cranky.
so annoyed by me. He's just like, he looks at me like I am the devil. Like he literally cannot handle it, and I can't handle him telling me that I'm too loud because I'm like, how should I change myself? Should I wear a muzzle like a German Shepherd? Like what should I do? I feel like how
No,
about I
you
just
shouldn't.
not be here and bug you? You can stay in the room and enjoy peace and quiet, and I'll be outside doing my thing. Because I tried many times to walk to him and ask him things. He literally get mad at me for being screaming or like whatever it is. He just not really. He just need his space and time to
Listen,
get up.
I've met this guy. He is very mellow. He has a mellow
Yeah.
demeanor. Definitely.
Yeah, he's
you
very-
are polar opposites. I'm
Yeah.
same with Drew. Like
Mhm.
I've sort of grown into my announcer voice and my sort of outwardness with my personality, but like if I'm in a group setting, I can sit by myself and be kind of quiet. I don't have to be the center of attention. That's just me. So yeah, you guys, I mean, opposites attract, so that's good, right, Damona?
Sometimes. Sometimes. I think it depends on the factors that you're looking at. I think our core values have to be the same, but a lot of times personalities can be different. As I said, my husband, he's an introvert. He's really quiet. He's a writer. He's very internal. And I'm, out here always talking. I have noticed, I wonder if you've noticed this too, Zhao Ying. I've noticed that as an introvert, when my husband and I go out, like if we're at a party, I come home amped up.
Yeah.
I am just like,
Right.
I want to talk about what happened. I want to talk about who I am.
It's like after sex, the woman perks up and the guy falls
goes
asleep.
to sleep. Yeah. And then he'll be the opposite. He goes to a party. It takes all of his effort just to like present out in the world.
Yeah.
He's just asleep.
Yeah.
Asleep. Do you see that?
Yeah, I feel like, Drew and I are opposites like that too.
Yeah, I definitely.
Like I'm
For me, like I got off stage like at 1 a.m. I'm high, and he's just like out, and I don't want to bug him. But like I'm so high, it's hard to sleep.
And then you're up early and you're waking him up too.
I know. In the morning, I got because I'm bipolar, so I'm just like I got up. I'm like excited to work. I saw my computer. I'm like, yes, I can work again. He's like a bitch.
That's good.
It's
You
1
should
a.m.
appreciate that because you're out there making a buck. So, you just have to appreciate it on some level. I mean,
He's keeping me alive.
you have
He's
to
making me sleep and eat.
give him his boundaries. Just realize he's going to be grumpy and get him a cup of coffee.
in the morning,
or like you said, just,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I think
I'm
it
sorry.
works better now.
I'm
I
like
just
that.
leave. I just leave the room to not bug him.
That's the right way.
You did that too, so it works. All right, but just bringing his attention to it was always good. If you can just tell him, if you can just do it in a nice way, so I don't feel bad. Like just go, oh, you can, your energy's a little higher than mine today, right now, so maybe take it down instead of saying stop yelling at me. Being aggressive.
I call it a sugar honey iced tea sandwich. So there's the two pieces of bread. That's the nice stuff. So you start with, honey, I love waking up next to you. And then you give them the thing that you don't like, the boundary, the thing that needs to change. And then you end it with something, a compliment, something else that is sweet and wonderful. And then it doesn't taste like sugar honey iced tea because you got that sweet bread on the other side.
Nice.
I'm from the Midwest, so I try to keep it light and polite.
My family's
from Cleveland, so.
No, but thank you so much, Zhao Ying, for calling in.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate your question. Yeah, and you know what? I look forward to seeing you again soon and coming back on Calling Out. And you can find Zhao Ying at zhaoyingsummers.com, right? And also on her, she's a comedian. She's funny. She's awesome. She's hot. People are like, why can't we see you, but I didn't want to put you up to that because I knew you were driving around with the kids. But have a great day. And next up, we have Robin Delano, who's a producer on our show. I don't know if we can. She's going to be on audio. Can we hear you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so is there a way to get a 2-shot of me and Ramona? Yeah, Damona, sorry. I was like, call you Ramona because I got it in my head and I can't stop. I'm so sorry.
I know, we all read those books.
So we're going to go into dating stuff with Robin. Robin has a couple questions for you. She's on mic. We don't have a picture of her or anything.
She's gorgeous.
I mean, we
trust that I'm skinny and beautiful.
Yeah, you could go in Drew's spot.
You are.
Sure, I could go in Drew's
Yeah, go in
All
Drew's
right.
spot. We'd love to see you. Anyways, she's on the dating trail and
Dating trail. I'm thinking like the Oregon Trail.
That's what it feels
You
like.
died of
pretty much.
dysentery.
That's what it feels
dated
like.
with
It feels like the Wild West. And
Anyways.
no one knows what to do.
I do, Robin. Don't worry. I'm here for you.
I'm so lucky you're here today.
I'm glad to be here with you.
Yeah. Okay,
What's the
so
dilemma?
do you want me to start?
Yes, yeah, you're right.
So I've been single for a really long time, and I finally met someone that I was really interested in. And how soon is too soon to have sex with that person?
Ooh.
She had a cold last week.
Ooh.
I had a cold, yeah. What do you think? Because
So I say that you
It's never
don't.
too soon.
it's never too
I was like, I feel like Susan and I are going to have different opinions here.
Well, wait.
Well-
did you and Drew sleep together at the first date? Do you mind if I ask that question? Yes.
Well, you asked the question.
See,
It's already out there.
I'm curious because I get different opinions.
Well,
you
I
know?
had circumstances. So
Yeah.
when I met Drew, he had just finished medical school and he was off for a week and he was on Wheel of Fortune and he was running around and we had a first date. And it was a weird thing because it was like there was 1 week of no work for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me all this stuff. Oh, I'm going to start working in a hospital next week and so on and so forth. And I was like, he lived in Pasadena. I lived in Newport Beach. And I was like, if he started driving me home after dinner. And I said, well, where are you going? And he goes, I'm taking you home. And I said, how about we go to your place? So we went and it worked out,
But that wasn't the first time you had met.
No, yes, it was. It was first
Okay.
date, but
First date.
it was 1984 and I was a slut.
And it worked out.
And
And it worked out.
I had no boundaries, but it was coming out of a really bad relationship and I just broken up with somebody and he was nothing like Drew. Drew was like a nice guy. So I had a good picker for a change. And I think it was just like, if I had a feeling I would never see him again if I didn't take the initiative. And he sang opera to me on the way to the house. Yeah. I told him he was flat, but
she's got notes.
everybody knows this story. If you ever listen to your mom's house, everybody knows this story. But, I'm not proud of it for the way I behaved in those days. I was 23. Okay. I was a very young girl.
Okay.
But it's different nowadays. Like people, I think that you have to get to know somebody because it can just go away suddenly. And I don't know why we stuck it out, why he came back. But, some guys will just be one and done and that's it. But I just felt a rhythm with him. I felt like I really had a connection with him.
I bet you did.
And
So do you think that's more important, Damona, that it's not so much about the physical or actually having sex, it's actually just about the two people or the connection? Like, what is your opinion on this?
Look, I coach people to move into relationships specifically. So I have to teach the rule. I can't teach the exception. And you will hear stories like Susan's and Dr. Drew's where we had sex on the first day and it was fine.
Yeah.
And that is not the norm of what I've seen in my practice for over 15 years.
Okay.
The norm is that when you really clarify what your goals are, what your values are, what you really want in a long-term relationship, and you lead with that and you give it time to unfold, then the relationship has staying power. There's more discovery. Because once you have sex, it's sort of like, well, there's no anticipation. You rob yourself of that. Will they or won't they? That, you know, your own rom-com.
Yeah.
You don't have that. You don't have that to look forward to. It's kind of like some of the questions have already been answered. So I'm not going to say, I know there's like all kinds of dating experts that will say the rules are, you know, it has to be date 8 or I think Steve Harvey said in his book like 90 days. I'm like, good luck today. 90 days. Forget 90 about
days,
it.
Yeah. No, that sounds like sobriety.
But I would say my feeling, and I actually, a lot of my advice came from, you know, listening to Dr. Drew on the radio for so long. I say you shouldn't really be intimate with someone until you can have an open and honest conversation about all the possible outcomes of having sex with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of possible outcomes.
Yeah, that's a good rule. That's a good rule. That's a good rule.
I know. People don't want to hear it. I know. You're like, Damona, just give me permission.
Well, listen.
To get it in, girl.
Just do it. Let's just
Well,
do it.
they used to say, "Oh, you got to be, you know, wait till after the second date," and but then they never call. Like in the old days, we had a phone. Okay, you had to wait for a phone call, so you had to be home to pick up the phone. Like I wasn't gonna. When is he gonna call me? Like I would be sitting at home waiting.
Yeah.
No. But nowadays, everything's at your fingertips, so it's a little different.
You know what? That leads me to another actually really good question, because when you do connect with somebody, let's say you go out on a couple dates, maybe you make out or something like that.
I'm all for making out.
Yeah. So then who texts who? Like, what if you don't hear from him? Like, should you reach out? You know what I mean? Like, what is your rule there now? Because it's like everything is so confusing to me.
So there are men in my Rumble live chat, and they think that, you know, they might be able to give me some advice on that because women and men are so different. And I wish like Andrew was here right now because he'd be really good at helping me with this. Maybe we can call him back. But
Andrew.
But I think that women and men are different. Men do not respond. They don't think, "Oh, wow, I'm supposed to call somebody back." They just decide to do it whenever they're ready, you know?
Right.
And a woman's like, "Okay, when are you going to call? When are you going to call?" You know, you're like, how did I impress you? Like Colby was saying, you know, bring her flowers, tell her that she's hot, like whatever.
Yeah.
Men don't think of that. They don't think, "Oh, gee, I'm going to."
Drew was like, just tell me, what do you, tell me at 5 o'clock on Friday.
This is what I need to do.
I'm supposed to get flowers. Pour coffee for you in the morning.
Exactly. Right. But I want to know the men on the chat, what they would say as far as, you know, why don't men respond? Should you respond? Should you be the first one to respond? I took the initiative. I'm the kind of person where I will text somebody and go, "Hey, how was it? Do you like me? Let's get together." Or, you know, whatever. I'm like that, but that's because I want to know.
Right.
I can't sit around and wait.
Yeah.
I think that's the right approach.
Boldness is the right approach.
Well, just
that's what my wife did.
being authentic.
That's
right?
what
Really,
Caleb?
Oh yeah,
Your wife did that?
My wife. So that's how we started dating. We had been friends and worked together and stuff, and we were completely friend zoned for I guess a year or two. And even I had an ex-girlfriend that even stayed with her. That's how much we were just like work friends. And then I was at a convention and I'm walking in the door, and I'd just been single for probably like maybe 4 or 6 months. And here comes Taylor running up to the door right as I'm walking into the convention center. She's like, "Date me. Why haven't you dated me yet? Why not?" And I thought she was joking, and she wasn't. Rest is history. You know, almost 10 years now married.
Wow, Caleb, I have a follow-up question, because a lot of times I hear from my female listeners on Dates and Mates that they're like, I don't want to lead. If I take the initiative, that's going to upset the rules of chivalry, and then he won't respect me or see me as a woman, and that changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
I do not subscribe to that line of thinking.
F the fairy tale.
F the fairy tale.
Right.
I think if you're interested and you're thinking about the person, just reach out. I think all of the old rules
in an emotional way.
Yeah, the old rules about chivalry and who's supposed to do what, I think they just keep us stuck in old narratives.
Yeah, and some guys on the J-Wink, said, men are afraid of being called clingy and creeps. Like, men are afraid to make the initiative now, because then they're perpetrators. Like, women have fucked it up for us.
They sure have. I agree. I agree. Like, it's a lot of the feminist stuff.
Really
but isn't it empowering to know that you don't have to follow a script? I did. I asked Caleb a question, and then we just kept talking.
Oh yeah, wait, what was the
Just
question?
like a woman. So, do you think that, like, was there any part in your mind that said, "Wait, she's pursuing me. Like now, I don't see her as feminine." No,
not at
You're
all.
just like,
It was
oh,
so
great,
easy.
she made this
And
easy for me to read.
It might have been easy just because it was the right match. That could have been it, where it was like, well, all the rules go out the window when it's the right match, because then it's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, I was the one that proposed to her. That was the one tradition that we kind of kept. But other than that, it was actually freeing for me, because at the beginning, I just didn't believe it. I thought, oh, she's obviously joking. This is my friend. And then by the end of that 24-hour period, it was obviously very different. I was like, oh, and I think she was surprised as well, because she was like, well, this is strangely comfortable. Then there's no rules. Once it's comfortable and you were like, oh, this is my soulmate, we found each other, then it's just normal and easy. There was no friction at all. It's very easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think women have this sort of double standard. Oh, I have to wait around, and I don't want to look slutty, and I'm afraid that he's going to think that I'm a whore because I think he's hot and I want to have sex with him or whatever. Like we're so afraid of that.
It's true. Yeah, it's definitely true. Even though that's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Or you don't want to look needy or creepy,
you don't want to look desperate.
The lean and hungry look.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to look like it seems like you get more attention when you're dating somebody than if you're not.
Yeah.
So you have to make it look like you already have a boyfriend, and then they'll be more
But
interested.
nothing makes us happier than you wanting us, needing us.
That's what we were just talking about
Yeah,
with
don't be
Caleb.
silly.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about with Caleb. Like to be more bold, I guess. Yeah.
So, and men need to take the lead. You need to give them information. They need to understand what you're feeling. But, not in a naggy way. Like, why didn't you call me? I've been waiting. Like, oh my God. Then they're like, what? I did something wrong.
I never would have made a move or tried at all, because it was such a friend zone. It was just the comfort of being in the friend zone. And I think that's actually what made it, in a way, it's like a lot of times it's hard to get out of the friend zone. But in our case, it worked really well because we had already gotten to know each other in a way that was much deeper than it's like, oh, I just met you and I find you attractive. It was, we had all of the other steps except for that part we had already taken. We'd already worked together. We'd already been friends. We had the same friend circle. We had a lot of the same interests, and we just it never even occurred to us to even try to go that direction until she jokingly said, why haven't you dated me yet? And then I was like, why? I don't know.
Like,
Right. I'm like, I never even thought about that. Like,
Oh my
good
God.
idea. Let's try.
Like, why? She's hot. She's like a 10.
Well,
It's so funny.
I mean,
Were you afraid because you were working together? Or you're just like,
no, not even that.
What is it?
So she lived in Alabama and I was in California at the time. She's like 7 years younger than me. And so she had dated other
younger.
people. She's younger. And so I was dating someone else. She was dating someone else. And then it just so happened at that same time that it kind of, everything fell into place, which is kind of what happens when you find the right one. It just all falls into place, and it's not difficult at all. Like it just clicked, and it's like two puzzle pieces. And it's so easy to say that when you're early days relationship of like, oh, my puzzle piece. But now we've been together a very long time, and it still feels exactly that same way. So I try to tell people, we got 2 kids now. And I try to tell my friends, I'm like, look, you'll know because it's easy. Like it shouldn't be so hard. It shouldn't be such a struggle. It shouldn't be like all the little arguments and the fighting. And is he cheating on me? Is she walking out on me? Is she looking like, you never even have those questions once you get into that comfort zone of,
you guys are
like, you don't even think about it. Like, it's like, it's like what Drew was saying earlier about how you guys have such he has a totally clean record for all these years of being married. Well, because it doesn't even occur to you.
Being accosted by women.
Right.
Not
With
just,
a clean record. With a
not just
100%
being married,
clean
but
record.
being a hot ticket celebrity approached by, at times, 10, 20 women a week. I mean,
that was what my
he
problem
worked with a lot of women. He was like the last host in television that wasn't Me Too, because I thought he was going to own television because everybody else had fucked around at work or whatever.
Right. Well, that was my problem too, is that I'm just so single focused, like, oh, I found my person and that's the end of the story. That it's like my wife sometimes will leave an event and she's like, did you see her? She was hitting on you. I'm like, who? Wait, someone
Yes.
who was it? That's okay. That makes me feel cool, but I wish I'd noticed it in the
Who was
moment.
it?
Who was
I want to
that?
see.
So how does it feel, Robin? Do you feel like if you saw somebody that you were interested in, could you make the first move?
Yeah, I literally have no self-control though. So this is what I'm working on. So.
Underneath her demure clothing and her
Did you go over
librarian.
your oxy?
Not yet. I was kind of waiting for you to
Okay.
get back.
Okay.
So this was a question I had for Drew because you know,
back in the hizzy.
connecting with somebody or sleeping with somebody is chemical, especially on the female side. So I have slept with someone. I was like, I'm going crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
no
the last
shame in
2
the game,
days-
Robin.
The last 2 days, I'm just like, is he gonna call me? Where is he? Oh, I think I see him over there. Like, it's just, you know, I'm literally crazy. I'm crazy. And today I was like, oh my God, I'm so thankful I have this show today.
my
Something
God.
else to think about. You know what I mean?
And then here we are talking about it
here
again.
we are talking about it.
She
So I
wants to
guess,
think about something other than the dick.
yes. So I guess my question is, how long does this really last? You know, how long does this last?
Well, it's not even so much how long does it last, but at what cost to you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Did you reach out to him afterwards?
I did. Yeah, we've been chatting.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been
Okay,
chatting.
but he
But this is
isn't
a
ghosting.
constant thing I hear from women, just like, I'm a liberated woman. I can do this just the way a guy does. And the guys are, okay, we're just hanging out. And then when's she going to call? When's he going to call? What's
The
going on? Why isn't he
oxytocin
here?
kicks in.
The oxytocin, but it's a more complicated system than just that. But I hear from many women that they just go, I'm not going to sleep with somebody unless we're going to have a relationship because it's too painful,
Yeah.
too big a price. Some can, some have no
Yeah.
problem doing it. But I hear all the time that it's just exactly what you're experiencing happens and they can't control it, even if they want to dismiss it.
Yeah.
And it has a toll on you.
Now, let me, from the man's perspective, does this happen at all? Will
Yes.
he be thinking about
It
me
does
for
happen.
at least 24 hours?
It does happen, but it's much easier for it not to happen for us.
Okay.
But if you said, do you want to come over and do it again? What is it? If he says no, that's not a good sign.
Oh my God, it would kill me.
So
I would
you-
die.
but,
I'd be like, really? You don't want to?
guys, I'm looking at Drew. I'm asking him this question, but if she wants it, why doesn't she just invite him back to do it again?
That it'd be unlikely that he would say no, but you might be going in deeper. So you have to
Right.
kind of get things
I
clear
see.
from him. What are
Well,
we
what-
what are we doing? Is
What do
this-
you want out
Put
of
a
this?
ring on it. I
Do
mean,
you
come
just
on.
do you
I
just
do
want
wanna
to
get
the thing, you know, I used to talk about friends with benefits when I go to these college things, and I go, yeah, it's great, no big deal, we hang out, but inevitably somebody gets hurt,
Yeah.
and sometimes the men get hurt too.
Yeah.
But I said once, I was at University of Maryland, I go, you know, it's like it looks good on paper, it's something that should work, and one of the kids yelled out, so does communism. I thought that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Communism looks good on paper. Friends with benefit looks good on paper, but it just doesn't work for human beings.
That's amazing. Maybe I should think about that in my head. But to ask you, yes, with this guy, I do like him. Like, I like what I know about him so far. I do like him. He's like very sweet and
Okay, I'm going to give you
Yeah.
really specific advice then.
please, Damona, please.
In your follow-ups,
Yeah.
you have to be specific.
Okay.
If you're just like, hey, you want to come over and hang out, you know what you're going to end up doing.
Okay.
And there's no expectation, there's no additional effort, there's no, like, it's not implied in his mind, and this is leading to potentially a future. It's like, oh, she wants to hang out.
Okay.
So if you want something more serious, you need to set the stage
I
for that.
agree.
And you
Okay.
pace the relationship. The woman in a hetero relationship paces the relationship. So it's up to
Okay.
you to drive the train.
Okay.
Very true. You guys make the choice.
Right.
The choices are yours. We're like trying to get choices. Trying to get choices.
What is it? Could you give me an example of like a reach out or a text? Like, what would you?
Okay.
What would you say? You know, like
This is my favorite.
Yes.
My
okay.
favorite topic.
Yes.
Wait, give me more. You said you've seen him twice.
I've seen him twice. Yes, we have been intimate and we've been chatting. You know,
Both times?
Yes, both times.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes, I told you. And we've been chatting like between both times. And so it's been great and fun, you know. But then Yeah, how do I do exactly that? How do I,
The chatting can be sort of insidious. I call it in F the Fairy Tale, the texting trap, because it's a false sense of intimacy.
Right.
We're having a connection, we're having a conversation, but we're not having real synchronous, intimate conversation or connection, right?
Okay.
So in the early phase of dating, I say you really want to keep the texting trap to a minimum. Oh, I'm here at work, but I can't wait to see you the next time. So you're always building anticipation for the next thing. And I also like to use I call it the callback method.
Use a phone. Somebody just said, I call ladies on the phone.
Oh, well, the actual phone. But the callback method is on the phone. But like when you are texting, reference something that you already talked about, something that you shared, so that you connect with him on an emotional level.
Okay.
So it's like a funny joke or meme. This made me think of you, right?
Okay, yes,
So it's not just like, good morning, how's your day,
Yeah.
what's up? Because
Yeah.
then the mundane will take over and you lose the magic.
Okay.
But if you can tap into something emotionally and then seal it
You're
with
good at that.
a
You
plan.
can find a funny
Oh
name.
Yeah.
I can find something.
Seal it with a plan then.
My mind's already going as you're talking.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody on Rumble said, hit him over the head with a rock.
And then hit him over the head with a rock. You could just do like a weekend at Bernie's situation. No, I'm
Which
kidding.
could be better than some of my dates have been. Anyway.
Oh, dun-dun-dun.
All right, Kaleb has to leave. I hope we
think
got
we have to
everything
leave.
out there. Drew, I told him our story about our first date. I just have, before we go, I want to know what was on your mind after our first date. Did you want to see me again? Were you like, oh, I can't wait till the next one?
let's
or
hear this.
what? I don't remember how we reconnected the second time, but
Was there nothing on your mind because you couldn't think straight?
Yeah, I can't imagine. I don't remember really, but I can't imagine I didn't want to get right back.
Aww.
and we had another day, and we made salads together, and
That's so cute.
yeah, it was cute. But anyways, okay,
I
well,
always
thank you
tell
for
my
that
wife,
answer.
we're gonna have to tell our kids this is a do as we say and not as we do situation with our relationship. This is very unique. You'll be very lucky if you find one just like this, but be a little more careful than we were. It just so happened to work out great for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better to love and lost than to never love at all.
Yeah. And I think it's what Kaleb was saying earlier. When it's right, it should be easy. If you're listening now and you're in like a situationship and a drama, in a constant state of drama, it might just not be the right thing,
yeah.
right? When it works, it
It's
just
hard
works.
once you're sucked in. But I think Robin she's doing the right thing. You'll be okay. But, work
okay.
it a little bit, girl.
Yeah, I think I will.
Get
I'm
rid
gonna,
of the librarian looks, show the boobs, and get out there. That's what they told you to do on Rumble, by the way.
Oh, did they? Oh, no one likes my glasses.
Yeah, they said the glasses. Yeah, get the sexy Robin out.
I think it's cute to have the transformation too.
I've seen her dress up.
I've transformed
so
before.
many Robins. You never know who's going to show up.
So. She's got her work clothes on today.
I know.
Keep the element of
I'm coming over to the
surprise.
studio. I'm not gonna,
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We have to.
Thank you, Damona.
Let's see. I hate when ladies send me sexy memes.
I said
Okay,
funny.
we won't do that. I know you said funny and personal. You said about personal, something that we
relates to-
shared
Right.
to what we talked about. Yeah.
Sexy me.
Robin's always laughing, so she's got a sense of humor. So yeah, I always notice that about you. So I'm going to pray for you.
Thank you.
More
Susan. I need
sex
your
for
prayers.
you. More sex for you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Relationship. I want
I mean, a relationship for you. And more
For
sex.
Valentine's Day, don't put a lot of pressure on it. Don't go expect something from it. If something happens, great. But don't be butthurt if it doesn't. Because men suck at Valentine's Day, and that's just the way it is. That's just
and I really just met this person.
But if you don't suck at Valentine's Day, or you want to try really hard, make some dinner plans for tomorrow, or buy some roses, or not roses. Roses die, but I like orchids. They live longer, but just reach out, give a card, give a little bit of hi, how are you, miss you, or just show you're present if you're dating somebody, and don't leave them in the dark on Valentine's Day, because that is the worst. I hate that. But yeah, and also, you know, I'm going to be planning Valentine's Day for my husband this year. So we're reversing the roles. It won't be till
Nice.
Saturday.
A
but
lot of Paleo Valley. Paleo Valley beef sticks will be
chocolate bone
involved.
broth. We didn't do any ads today, but it's chocolate.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's healthy. Get the chocolate bone broth, put it in your coffee, have some hot cocoa in the rain.
You can put it in some cupcakes even, I
Yes,
bet.
yes. And yeah, we do that. Anyways, and then get the DWC STD kit. So if you
For your day after Valentine's Day.
Thank you to our sponsors. If anybody wants to support our sponsors, go to drdrew.com/sponsors. You'll find us there. I'm at First Lady of Love on Twitter. Give me a shout out, or, you know, follow me, and also on Instagram. So you can see pictures of my granddaughter, and then when the next show's coming up. So thanks, everybody. We love you guys. Molten Salt said his name is Dick.
Jeez.
I think Valentine's is dumb, but whatever. Just buy some chocolates or a card or whatever. These are the men over there. Hi, you guys. And then just, you know, be present, be aware that somebody loves you. Not just me. See you next time. Bye, Kaleb.
The Wellness Company knows that taking charge of your family's healthcare is a top priority, and that is why they are constantly innovating to deliver the products and services to help you be rationally ready for an emergency. They've added a medical kit for kids to treat over 20 childhood illnesses: nausea, vomiting, allergies, asthma, bioterror, God forbid, croup ear infections, lice, and more. And you can also order the kids kit with an EpiPen. Carefully sourced, great price. If there's a risk of anaphylaxis for your kids, you want that EpiPen. That can be in all kits, each customized for a different purpose. It comes, of course, with a telemedicine consultation and a guidebook, and you can replenish the meds up to 2 years after the date of purchase. So go to drdrew.com/2WC for 10% off any medical emergency kit or supplements. That is drdrew.com/TWC.